Welcome to Awake to Oneness Radio. I am Caroline Chang, your host. The mission of Awake to Oneness Radio is to inspire the world to awaken to the universal truth of oneness. Science is now teaching us that all life is interconnected and interdependent. And ancient wisdom and spirituality has been teaching the truth of oneness for eons. Science is just now catching up, but it's not new science. This science is over 100 years old. Quantum physics. It talks about the unified field theory and quantum entanglement, which basically means everything is connected, everything is one. So what you do to another person, you're literally doing to another aspect of yourself. And when mankind awakens to the universal truth of oneness, there will be peace on earth. Today's show topic is Science and Non-Duality with Maurizio Benazzo. Did I say that correctly?
Very good, very good.
Very good, very good. Yes, and I know you're Italian. You told me to talk with my hands. Thank you, Mauricio. I am so thankful for you. I've been an admirer of yours for a long, long time. So please share with our listeners how you came to do the wonderful work that you and your lovely wife are doing. Please, with the conferences and everything, please share with our listeners your journey.
Oof. I don't know. Which version do we go? The long version?
Any version you want. It's up to you. But and don't worry about time. We have all the time you want.
So basically, let's stick to it. Both me and my partner, Zaya, my wife, Zaya, have been on the search, on the path forever.
Yes.
And when we met, we came, our first date really, we went to India to shoot a documentary about Nisargadatta Maharaj, the book I Am That. And we went there to interview the spiritual teacher, the translators of Nisargadatta, because everybody knew about his followers from the West, but nobody ever dealt or dwell enough on the personality of the translators, which are very fascinating characters. Yes. Beautiful human being. And so we went to meet these beautiful human beings. And one of them shared with us this sentence saying that Nisargadatta used to say, one day, what I'm teaching, it's not spirituality, it is science. One day, scientists will come here and will understand all this. And he was using sentence like, fluid gets together in your head and the sense of self appear. You're just an electromechanical reaction of, cells and molecules, as well as the absolute. So that line stuck with us in our mind, and we came back to the US and we were making movies, as I said. And a friend of ours at one dinner told us, hey, why don't you organize an event based on this sentence, on putting together the science and spirituality? That would be a great idea, but we just said, okay, the only way to do it, if we do it 1 year from now to the date. Because, sometimes you make a decision and you decide, oh yeah, I'll do it later. Nothing ever happened, right? So we said, okay, we'll do it. And one condition is 1 year to the date today. And it wasn't my birthday.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday dinner. And I said, okay, 1 year to the date. Okay, finished a bottle of wine, went to sleep. The next morning, I called the only place, the only place in our area who had the ability to gather about 500 people maximum in a hotel room that could be fitting for what we thought the event could be. And we called them and said, oh, we need a date, October 23rd, 2009, that weekend. And they said, it's absolutely impossible. This is a high season, you understand. October is not going to happen. And they said, oh my God, wait a second. The 23rd, you said? Yeah, the 23rd. Oh, we just got a cancellation half an hour ago. Oh, okay. So the magic started. And so from there, the journey started. And it's been magic since then.
Yeah. Now, what year was that, Maurizio?
2008. And the first event started in October 2009.
Okay.
So yeah. So it's now 11 years now that 11 events in the US, 5 in Europe, a lot of smaller events at Essalon or 1440 or other places all over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful journey of discovery and growth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Please explain to our listeners, because I'm very familiar with, I've never been, and I hope to go very soon. I've never been to an event, but I'm very familiar with your events, and I watch the clips on YouTube from the events, you know. So but some people may not be familiar. So it's called SAND, SAND, which stands for Science and Non-Duality. Please explain to our listeners what SAND's conferences are all about.
First of all, we basically, the general idea is we put together scientists of academia, so not new age science, if you wish, you know, science that has a real depth, a real academic understanding, if you're proven science, let's call it, just to be, even though proven science is as abstract as you can imagine. I mean, we're talking about quantum physics. It's so absurd.
Yes.
You can prove it as you are one of the most in the world. I mean, it's so fascinating, and it's
your screen was freezing a little bit. Can you repeat what you just said? Because we didn't hear that.
From the beginning, yeah.
No, so, just from what you just said. Yes. Yes.
Yes, we put together scientists from like quantum physics, neuroscience, biology, together with mystics of all different traditions.
Yes.
And we have conversation of what it means to be human at the end of the day. We don't necessarily look for approval we don't look for them to agree on things, but we look basically to put intelligent people together in a room in a non-dogmatic way to discuss what does it mean to be human. So we use the rigor of science with the beauty of the meditative arts and to have beautiful conversation. So, and we go through therapies, there is a lot of movement, psychedelic research, anything that could be considered a portal to the better understanding of who we are in this planet.
Wow.
Our mission, if you may, is just basically we are informed by modern science, inspired by the mystic of all ages, and our learning has to be based on our personal experience as human. So as much as a theory can hit you, doesn't mean much until you feel it at every level of your cells. It's easy to say we are all one, but what does it mean when somebody steals your parking lot, right? With me, you know.
Yes.
So,
yes. I resonate with you so much because it was science. It was science. It was quantum physics that woke me up to the understanding of oneness. I had been studying spirituality off and on for many years, but I watched the documentary What the Bleep, which is all about quantum physics with credible scientists in the film. But it was a statement from Lynn McTaggart, who said, the biggest problem in the world today is the illusion of separateness. When she said that, something woke up inside of me. It wasn't intellectual, it was heartfelt. It was something, I'm like, yes, that is a true statement. All of our problems stem from the fact that we think we're separate. When we know and everything, all of credible quantum physics. Now, everything, I've had many scientists, I'm sure you're familiar with Dr. Bruce Lipton, and Dean Radin, and all of these scientists I've had on as guests. So I believe that credible scientists are telling us that we are all one, we're interconnected. And here's the thing, I had a scientist by the name of Thomas Campbell as a guest, and he wrote My Big Toe, My Big Theory of Everything. And he said, if a person doesn't believe in oneness, their cell phone should be taken away. Meaning, all of today's technology, the smartphone, the cell phone, computers, everything works off of quantum physics, which at the core of quantum physics is the unified field theory that everything is interconnected and interdependent. If it wasn't so, we wouldn't have today's technologies. That's how real oneness is. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I use this metaphor that somehow we are all particle of the universe as much as our liver and our heart. They are separate. The heart beats like a heart. It creates cells of a heart. It does a job of the heart. And the lungs, they do the job of the lungs. And they're lungs. And they're totally separated. But in reality, they're all one because they're part of one organism. So the same metaphor to me applies as the universe. So we are absolutely everything, but also we have our identity as separate thing. Yes. But we have to be aware the fine line of the balance between those two experiences, the experience of the absolute and the experience to be a separate entity. And that's in that tension that lies our sense of being human, into the understanding that we are all and the understanding of our separateness. Because we are clearly different, but they are clearly part of the same puzzle, the same big puzzle. And each action we create somehow stimulate and as you said, like you talk about entanglement, every movement, everything that happens around us has profound implications that are not evident at first sight on everything else around us. And that's so fascinating and so beautiful to me, this understanding.
Yes. And I realize from our human perspective, it's hard to understand that we're all one and we're separate at the same time, because we think it's this or that when it's this and that. Yes, it is this and that, meaning we are all unique aspects of God, all that is. My term for God is all that is. There's nothing outside of God. All there is God. And we're all not just pieces of God. We are holographic aspects of God, meaning all of God is in each of us. And that's hard for our human mind to wrap around that. My favorite quote is from Rumi. Rumi says, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." So that's what each of us are. We are all of God in a drop. And that's hard for us from human level to wrap our head around.
And I will even expand it. It's not even us in every cell that makes our body. So in a way, this separation, it doesn't stop at the level of human. It's not us, special human form, or us. It's just in every cell of the universe, in every molecule of the universe. So again, we go back to our heart, to our lungs, to every cell that comprise our tissue.
Yes.
So everything is the intranet. Everything is a representation of the absolute into the minor form.
Exactly.
So it's messy. It's complicated.
Yes. Well, it can be. And remember, is this or that? It can be. I like to keep it simple. When I do a presentation, I just did a presentation this last weekend at Unity in my area, and I like to keep it simple. And everybody commented how I took science, quantum physics, and made it understandable, because we can make it very complicated, but we can also keep it very simple. And I keep it simple by thinking, just remember that everything is connected, and when one thing changes, it changes the whole. But I actually got my first key to my awakening in 7th grade science class. When we were studying molecules and atoms, my science teacher, my 7th grade science teacher, said, nothing is truly solid. So when you think about it, nothing is truly solid. You put anything under, yes. And he said that in 7th grade, and I was like, what? you know, that was an awakening moment for me. But you put anything under a high-powered microscope, you see these tiny atoms. And now it's discovered that an atom is 99.99999% empty space. So we're not living in a solid universe. It appears solid from our limited senses, because our eyes, our hearing, our touch, everything about a human is extremely limited. And we know this because we know all the waves, like there's microwaves, there's gamma rays, all of these things we cannot detect with our senses, but they're all around us. So when we understand, well, we can't go by our limited senses, science is telling us all this, that we are, it's just one thing, it's just energy interconnected. And so I keep it simple at that level. So, but it can get, now if I talk to a scientist.
It gets complex, let's say. To me, at the end of the day, what's important, how do I understanding as a human being? And it's complicated. It's complicated to understand, again, the repercussion and this sense of being absolute. Again, when somebody cuts you on the road, when somebody that you
this is true. This is true. When somebody cuts you,
where the rubber meets the road, that I want to see. I want to understand my physics, and my spirituality to me appears there.
Yes.
Because I can be spiritual as I want. I want to make sure my spirituality is not an excuse to escape the reality. You know, I don't want it to have my spirituality as an excuse to put myself in a bubble. I'm so perfect. I'm God. I'm absolute.
Yeah, no, well.
No.
I'm not sure I'm losing you a little bit. Your internet is going in and out a little bit. So, but repeat what you just said about you don't want to be in a bubble. Repeat that again.
Yeah. To me, it's very important. At the end of the day, I count spirituality or my sense of being human by my relationship to the day-to-day thing, from the small things. I want to make sure that as a human being, I don't use spirituality to hide myself in a bubble. Oh, I'm perfect. I'm the absolute. I'm God. Nothing touches me. That it's beautiful. It's a phase. I've been through that, and I'm not saying it's very important, because sometimes life is so hard that you want to, help yourself and suit yourself. But I like, for me personally, I'm not saying a recipe for the universe. For me personally, I like to be able to be human at the end of the day. I want to be able to, I like the messiness of being human. I like the emotion, the sensation, the feeling that come across. And yet I want to keep them into this total big understanding of our interconnectedness. So in a way, rage appears, fear appears, sadness appears when sadness appears. When you lose a friend, when you lose a family member, how can you not be sad? And I want to make sure I'm not saying, oh, I'm so spiritual. We are all one. If he or she died, it's all good. No, it's not good. It's sad. I want to express my sadness in understanding that, yes, we are one, So it's just this balance between being human and being God, being human and being God, and find this fine line in the middle. This is where our conference, our event, and our community is moving towards more and more. Not this understanding that we are all, we are not special. We are absolutely special. We are special in our imperfection, in our fears, in our, let's go back to being human, So basically, I remember when I was 18, I saw a Russian movie, The Sacred Mountain, Jodorowsky, this director, and it was a movie about how to go up the sacred mountain. This character was going through all the tasks, and finally all the tasks and all the trial and the effort, and he arrived finally on the sacred mountain in the bliss of a moment. And then the movie ends, and he says, but the difficult part is not to be on the sacred mountain. The difficult part is to go back on the other side and become human again. The difficult part, it's difficult. It's very difficult also to reach the sacred mountain. Let's not discard that. But to me, people like Adyashanti says, when you get this quote unquote moment of enlightenment, you're not done. You're starting.
Right. Yes.
That's
yes.
when you start. That's when your real growth starts. You know, it's not this idea that, oh, when I will be quote unquote enlightened, whatever that means, that means, I will be blissful, there will be no pain, there will be absolutely bogus. When you will be quote unquote enlightened, you will feel even more the pain. You will feel the pain of every human being who ever existed in this planet. You will feel the sadness of every mother who lost a child. You feel everything.
I love this. I wish we were in the same room together, because I love having this conversation, because because I am a mother who has a son in spirit. I have a son in spirit, yes. And I have to honestly tell you, there's a backstory, and most of my listeners know my story. But when my son passed, when my son transitioned, I don't even use, I only word I use is transition, because I know there's eternal life, and he's not gone. He's the co-host of this show. He transitioned, my son transitioned 5 years ago, July 1st, 2014. He was 29 years old. I was at complete peace when he transitioned, but there's a reason why. There's a reason why. There's a backstory. So what I want to say is, I understand what you're saying. There's the humanness, being human, and then there's spirit. But that's duality. We're saying, well, we're human over here and we're spirit over here. We're separating them. And in truth, even what I was taught in 7th grade, this is not a physical world we're living in. We are not physical beings. We are still spiritual. Even with our body, we are still in spirit. It's just, this world is very low density. It's a very low vibration. Everything is vibration. This world that we're living in and experiencing, it's still spirit. It's still part of spirit, but it's very low. It's very dense. The vibration is very slow. So for me, there's no separation from being human and being spiritual. Okay, I've combined the two, because I said, you know what, I can't say I'm all about oneness, but separate spiritualness and humanness. I don't separate the two. And the reason, I'll share with you quickly why I was at peace when my only son transitioned. 2.5 years before that, doctors said he wasn't going to live, and I tried to kill myself. I wrote a suicide note. I said, I'm not going to bury my son. My son is going to bury me. And this is in the hospital. Okay, so I took a bottle of over-the-counter sleeping pills, and I was unconscious for 3 days. They had me in emergency. They had me in ICU. Finally, when I did come to, they had me on 24-hour suicide watch. They allowed me to visit my son, who was on life support, for an hour a day with supervised visits. One day, the last day I visited him on supervised visit, I whispered in his ear. His name is Kyle. I said, Kyle, please get better so we can both go home. That night, he pulled himself off life support. He pulled out the ventilator. He pulled out the feeding tube, and his vital signs were perfect. The doctor said it was like he was not even sick. I was blessed with a true medical miracle. And a few weeks later, I took my son home. I took my son home the day before New Year's Eve. It was December 30th, 2011. And I promised God that day, I said, God, I'll never, ever forget this miracle. I don't care what happens tomorrow. Meaning, my son could have leave this earth the next day. I will never stop thanking you for this miracle. So my son did not go back into the hospital till 2.5 years later. 2.5 years later, he went back into the hospital. He was in the hospital for 3 months. He was again on life support, but I never stopped thanking God. Even on his way back to the hospital, I was thanking God. When he transitioned, I knew 3 things. I knew my son was not gone anywhere. I knew that it was his soul's choice. Our soul decides when to come and when to go, and it's always in perfect divine timing. And I knew it was a soul agreement he and I made. We had an agreement. I'm supposed to stay. I have work to do. He's supposed to go. He said, it's my time to go. It's your time to stay. Now, I can tell you, honestly, I have my son's voice on tape from Spirit 2 years ago. No lie. You can hear it yourself. I'll send you the audio. I have my son's voice on tape from 2 years ago. He's very proud of what I'm doing with the show. And he says he's the co-host of this show. Anytime I'm doing a show, he's right here. So, yes, I hear what you're saying, but I am someone who has gone through it. And I know I can be human and spiritual and combine the two and stay in a state of joy. And it's not having, I have nothing but compassion for the other that are going through it.
Caroline and Kyle. Seriously, one thing I want to say is this. To me, sadness does not take away joy.
Yes.
To me, the expression of sadness does not mean, I'm not talking about suffering. I'm talking about sadness. When you said about Kyle, I mean, my heart broke. I mean, I really feel, I'm touched by your story, by your courage, your strength. I'm deeply touched. But it doesn't mean that I don't appreciate, I don't know how to say it, you know, it's life, you know.
Yes.
To be accepted, and I don't want to. I cannot be joyful of the fact that you lost this precious.
Yes, I understand.
Next to you, I cannot be joyful, but I accept, and sadness comes in, and that's still the joy is a foundation, if you wish. The joy, the appreciation of life, the acceptance of what is, the acceptance of whatever the universe is going to give us. It's a foundation, and you can only accept it. And sometimes people slap you on the face, ow, and you cry because it's pain.
But it hurt.
The suffering, right?
Yes.
You don't need the suffering. Still, you cry, ow, why did you hurt me?
That hurt. Yeah.
You laugh.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So it's a fine line. But what I'm saying, I want to make sure I feel my pain. I want to make sure. I love to feel my sadness. I love it. I love to feel the emotion in my body. I love that. I love to have I love to be human. I'm delighted to be human.
Well, that's
and I'm well aware that it's all a game, it's all an illusion. I'm totally aware it's an illusion. But it's a beautiful illusion.
It's a dream of our own creation. See, that's another thing. It's a dream of our own creation. And I love it too, because I know that we all chose to be here. We wanted to be here. We couldn't wait to get here, you know? And so, but it is, I call it, I know it's an illusion, but I know what it is. What it is it's a dream of my own creation. And I have the power to make it a nightmare, or I have the power to make it a beautiful dream. It's my choice. And every now moment, I can make it a nightmare. I can make this dream a nightmare, or I can make it. But I understand what you're saying. No, pain and beauty and joy, it goes hand in hand. It's like life is a sun shower. It rains and it's sun at the same time. It's a beautiful sun shower.
And also another thing that I really want to say that I really don't know, that the mystery is so profound, the mystery is so huge, that I don't know. So I'm afraid I hear you 100%, and I can agree with you when you say, that we are creating the illusion. But when we go in that area, I get a little, yes, I agree with you. I'm excited about what you say. I hear you. I love you. I hear you. But I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't really want to know, because there's no way I'm going to know. So the only thing I know is that I am the absolute. I am a representation of the absolute.
Right.
And I am this little molecule, this combination of molecule that goes around and speaks with a funny accent and says,
I love your accent. I love it. Now,
and I don't really know. I don't really know if we are, when we start saying if we are an illusion creator. I don't know. I just want to enjoy this
Okay.
beautiful.
Now let me ask you a question. When you say, and I think I might have to put back on my fan. Hold on, I'm gonna put on the fan. It's just whew, it doesn't usually get hot in the Poconos, but we're going through a heat wave in the Poconos. Okay, but I don't even have AC. I don't have AC where I live because we don't need it. But I do need the fan on right now. But when you say, let me ask you this: when you say the absolute, you know you are the absolute. What does that mean to you?
I means, as you said, that there is only one. There is nothing outside of it. So there is only one. So I am part of the one. I'm like, as much as the cell of my body is part of myself,
Right.
This combination of cell, and every cell in my body is part of the total. So I'm the absolute, all there is, all there
Right.
is. I'm all there is. I am all there is, and each part of me, each molecule of me is a representation of, is an hologram, if you wish. Could be, that could be a good story. On the other hand, I don't know, but that I believe is a fairly reasonable story to me. That I am an hologram. Each part of me is an hologram of the intranet, right? An hologram of everything is.
Right.
So that's the absolute for me.
Right, like holographic. We're each, like I love that. What makes me really can visualize that we're holographic is that quote where Rumi says, "You're not a drop in the ocean, you're the entire ocean in the drop." So
right.
now you know, as the absolute, that you are creating your experience. Yes. As the absolute, you are the absolute.
Co-creating, yes. Co-creating, yes.
Co-create.
But how much responsibility? Yes, how much responsibility I have in my experience as the small molecule of the absolute has to be discussed. Actually, cannot even be discussed. So the absolute as an experience through me, and I just raise my hand. Oh, I just lower my hand. It's not me deciding. We're going to talk about now free will, and it gets very complicated.
Okay.
Very, and I don't think it's a topic.
Well, you know what? I find this so fascinating because from my perspective, what I see is from our human mind, we want to see it this or that. When it's both, it's free will and destiny go hand in hand. Just like you said, joy and pain go hand in hand. I love the symbol, the yin-yang symbol, yin-yang symbol that is half white and half black and equal. Both parts are equal. So that represents to me the all that is. And we label things bad or good. We do that. But it just is. You know, we put labels on it, but it just is. And we can, and in every isness, we can see the light, we can see the good, or we can see the bad. Like even, okay, with my son's transition, he was 29, but he was in a lot of pain. And so when he left the body that was just full of pain, he wasn't in any more pain. You know, so there's that light there. But also I knew in my heart, he's not gone. I knew it in my heart. And like I said, I even have physical proof. I have his voice on tape from a few years ago.
One of my favorite stories is this Chinese fairy tale. I don't know how to call it, proverb, fairy tale. Is this guy, you probably heard this guy who had two passions in his world, two things he adores. He adores his stallion, his horse, and he adores, I don't know if you know the story. And one day his stallion leaves. He lost the stallion, disappeared. And all the neighbors, oh my God, poor you, such a bad luck. You lost your horse. I cannot believe how bad luck. That was your most beautiful horse in the world. Such bad luck. And then one day, a few times later, the horse came back with this beautiful female horse. I don't know if you call it mane, how you call it in English. This beautiful horse, gorgeous. And they had the most incredible little horses all around. And the neighbor, how lucky you are that your horse left. How lucky you are. I can't believe how lucky you are. And then something happened that the horse his son was riding the horse, and the horse made the son drop, and he kicked him and he broke his leg. And he said, oh God, how bad luck you are that your beautiful horse hurt your son, your favorite son, and your son is limping. He's a crippled man. How bad luck you are. And then there was a war. And every other son in the village went to war, and they all died. How lucky you are that your horse broke the leg of your son, because your son didn't go to war. Where is the luck and bad luck? We don't know.
Yes, exactly. I have heard that. I've heard it told slightly differently, but I have heard that. And there's even another, I think there's even another, but I have heard that, which is even true. It's like, because the townspeople would say too, he was like a Buddhist monk, and the townspeople would say, oh, such bad luck. And his response would be, is it? That's all he would say. Every time the townspeople would come and say, oh, what's such bad luck? And all he would say, is it? And then when something good happened, they would say, oh, what good luck. And he would have the same response. Oh, is it? So his response to what people call bad was, is it? And his response to what people call good, oh, is it? He was in the isness. It is what it is, and we see the outcome of each thing. There was a positive and negative and positive. They play this dance, the dark and the light, the yin and yang. They play this dance together. But yes, but when you understand, it is what it is. So we call it bad, but that was a perfect. And I have heard that story, and that's a perfect example of the isness. It is. So I do now. I'm grounded in when anything happens, I own it. I take ownership of it. I say, okay, I created that. You know, whether if it's something I didn't want to happen, my car broke down, you know, I'm stuck in the middle of the road, where I'm like, okay, why did I create this? You know, what's going to come about? You know, I look for what's going to come about from this, because I realize I own it. I don't blame the world. I don't call myself a victim. My son is in spirit. I don't say I'm not a victim. I own whatever happens.
Yeah, to me, I take even away the I part. I take away, I created this, like, this is what is.
Yes.
So I even take away, I didn't create this. I don't know. This is happening. This is what is. So
yes, this is what is. Yes.
It's not even the I part. I try to eliminate the I part, because then I can say, oh, I could have created a better thing. Why don't I break the car when I was at a gas station instead of breaking now in the middle of the freeway? So, and then you can take responsibility of you creating it. To me, I prefer not to. No, that's. It maybe a butterfly in Brazil flap his wing, and that's why the car broke down here. I don't know. What is? What do you want to know? We can talk for ages of the reason why things happen.
Yes, I do hear you. But when I say the I also say the I as all that is. Because I try to keep the I and all that is together.
Which is the same thing. It's just I want to make sure the semantic we agree on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a wonderful thing about language. It does, you know, it's the semantics of words, and because words are so limiting. Yes.
That's the word is the essence of separation, like they say in the Bible, right? And the sound, they create the sound, and the sound. The word is the separate. The word is an attempt to define something. The moment you define something, you created a separation.
Exactly.
If I define this is a paperclip, if I define paperclip, okay, a paperclip is not me. So in the moment you use the word, you define object. In the moment you define object, but it's very practical. If you don't define object, how do you know the difference between a truck and a flower? If the truck is coming to you, you're dead. No, I mean, it's important, evolutionary. It's very, very important. Words are being fantastic. They work. They work.
Yes. And see, this is
separation word, the feeling of separation work. If we didn't feel separated, we will not survive. Because the lion comes, oh, the lion which is me is coming to eat me, which is me.
Okay.
It's
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But I also talk about how separate the part knowing, okay, the uniqueness of each of us. That I don't want us to ever lose. We are each.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're
absolutely.
all, yes. You are
Absolutely.
all unique, and we all have a special gift to bring to the all. We each, you have your special, we each have a special gift to bring to the all. And if we don't bring our gift to the all, no one else can fill our shoes. No one else is designed the way we're designed. So that is wonderful. But the aspect of the separation aspect where we think we're separate, so it's okay to kill and it's okay to hurt. And the other, because they're separate than me. That's the separation I want us to realize, that yes, we are all unique. We all have gifts to bring to the all. But I want us to remember that we are all a part of each other.
Absolutely, absolutely. But then separation doesn't mean that we have to kill. Separation also means you can love. I mean, separation is also love. Oh my God, I love this flower. Oh my God, I love my partner. I love this. I love to eat. So I'm separated from the spaghetti, but I don't have to kill them, but yet I bite into them and eat them. So it gets so complicated.
Yes. Yes. Well, I think there's a fine line between the two where they can be in balance. I think that I believe as humanity, we're awakening as humanity. And as we awaken, we understand our connectedness, and we will stop with the nonsense of war. We'll stop.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. But if you start loving your individuality and you love the other people's individuality, you don't have to be at war. You can have a great beer together and have a chat. Oh my God, how does it feel to have, whatever, to be, coming from a different culture and have a different way of seeing life. Instead of, why do we have to kill each other? Nobody said that we are different, we need to kill each other. That's the problem.
Yes, and I agree. The word I use for that is, the word I use for that is, the phrase I use for that is unity within diversity. We can love and respect everyone for who they uniquely are. We are
all equally different.
Yes.
We're all equally different. We are exactly differently.
Yes.
The same difference. We have the same difference.
Yes. And we can love each other. We can love and respect each other. No, I love you for you. And the other person,
we don't need to love everybody on the other hand, but it doesn't mean that we have to kill them.
Right.
Return your call and that's it.
Right. But I love everybody, because I know everybody is that other person, no matter how different our beliefs are. I can still love a person, even if they.
Absolutely. But there is some people that sometimes do something that they really annoy me.
And you want to put distance.
I still love them, but on the other hand, I have to express my, what are you doing?
Of course.
I still love them, but I can scream at them.
Yes. Yes, you can. But also, I think the other thing too, the question that you had raised about being human and feeling your humanness, like if somebody cuts you off when you're driving or something like that, it's also what I do is gauge my response to what's happening. Yes, because I could let it get really, really angry and start to yell and scream. Or I could say, wait a second, okay, it is what it is. Okay, I would prefer. Yes, I would prefer they did not do that, but they did it. So I can, if they're gone, I could just send them love. I send them I understand you don't have to be with a person that really annoys you all the time. And you don't have to take abuse, definitely, like a wife an abusive relationship, you don't have to take that abuse. You can put distance between you and the person that's abusing you, but you can still from a distance send them love.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, it all boils down how much you love yourself at the end of the day.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, with all the trauma that we have grown up with, all the pain that we have grown up with, and the misunderstanding, sometimes it's tough to love each other because it's tough to love ourselves. So at the end of the day, I think how much we can love ourselves is how much we can love each other. At the end of the day, and then again, I don't know, but that's just came out of my mouth.
No, actually, no. I want to say you hit the nail on the head, because everything starts from within. So if we don't love ourselves, in truth, we can't love another.
Everybody's a mirror of ourselves.
Exactly.
Everybody's a mirror. That person who really annoys me, if I look deep enough, he really looks like me a lot.
Yes.
He has a character that is the part I don't like in myself. Usually, I don't want to be too generalized, but
Yes,
often the case is that I really don't like it. He's so egotistical and insensitive, like me. Oops.
Exactly. But yes, but it all does, like you say, everybody is a reflection of you. And what you want to realize is the more you love yourself, that love radiates out to everybody around you.
The more you accept yourself, it's already a big deal to accepting ourselves. Life is hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to be human, honestly. I mean, come on.
Yes, actually, I believe it's one of the most difficult journeys as a soul. I believe we're going to have many different journeys. And this experience here on this planet, I think, is one of the most difficult journeys. Actually, many,
that's all I know.
yeah, many say we're.
I don't know how difficult it is to be a dog or a planet. I have no idea. I know.
On another planet, yeah.
I have no idea, but I know as human it's not easy, but
Right.
on the other hand, it's very easy also. So anyway, words.
So tell us more. Now tell us more about the conferences. So now you have how many now? Now it's grown. It's been 11 years. So how many do you have a year now?
We have two main one in Italy in July, usually, and one in the US in October in California.
Okay.
A year, and then smaller event here and there, maybe retreats, small events, more on a topic. Maybe we talk about trauma and spirituality, or relationship and spirituality. So we explore new aspect of the palette of being human. But that's what it is. Science and Non-Duality. Come and see the website, have a look.
Yes. Share the website, the name of the website. Share the link, just science.
Yeah. Scienceandnonduality.com is as simple as that. Check on YouTube, the clips, check, on the website. I haven't visited a lot of articles and a lot of videos and webinars, and it's like, we are a non-profit organization. We are a 501c3 organization.
Yes.
And we continue doing what we love.
Yes.
Relentlessly.
Yes. Now, do you ever have a conference on the East Coast? Because I've only been to the West Coast one time.
No, because it's really complicated to put together an event. It's really, really complicated. Most of the time we lose money. It's really, now we break even actually now more than lose money, but in the last few years. It's really complicated to start from scratch. It's a lot of organization. You have no idea how many details, oh my God, it's so complicated. From the location to the program it's so complicated. So 2 a year is plenty.
Yes.
And and the East Coast, we were planning to do something in New York next year, but we couldn't put it together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. We didn't put it together. It was too complicated. Yeah. So
well,
maybe one day.
I want to share my vision with you.
Yeah.
And it's a vision because I have really no idea how it can happen. But my vision is to have a oneness summit here in the Poconos, of course, starting locally. There's actually it's a brand new, one of the largest conference centers on the East Coast, was just built about 3 years ago, 5 minutes from my house. Yes.
Wow.
Beautiful convention center, beautiful. And it's 5 minutes from my house. So I say that again.
Send me the link. I want to see the.
Oh, I will. I'll send you. Yes. It's called Kalahari Resort and Convention Center. It's beautiful. But I would love having what I would call a oneness summit, and having people from having scientists, having spiritual people, leaders, having people from all religions. Because for me, the core at all religions, the core is oneness. So just people from all religions, all spirituality, all science, everything, coming together and having a oneness summit. But yes, I will send you that link. Yes, but that is my vision. So
maybe it will happen.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And please, I want everybody listening to please go visit Science and Non-Duality website, and also go to YouTube and check out the videos that they have put out for science, and they're amazing. They're all great videos. Yes.
But thank you. It's been a joy to see your spirit, to see how alive you are, how vibrant you are, and in despite of what life brought on your plate, which to me, I mean, what you share about Kyle, it's probably one of the more heartbreaking tests that the universe can ever put a human being to, losing a son. I cannot think of anything worse than that.
Yes.
So it's a joy to have met you. It's a pleasure to meet your spirit, your aliveness, and I love what you're doing for this planet. And I'm on your side, sister.
Thank you. Well, I want to share that it was 6 months. 6 months after Kyle's transition, Spirit woke me up in the middle of the night and said, just do it. And the just do it was to launch the radio show. And I have a nonprofit foundation in Kyle's memory. It's called the Kyle Foundation. But Kyle, I spell in capital letters, Kyle, because it stands for Keep Your Light Expanding. That's what Kyle stands for. Keep your light expanding. So yes, and Spirit woke me up in the middle of the night and said, just do it. And I Googled, how do you start internet radio show? How do you start a nonprofit foundation? And I started it. That was in January of 2015, where I just followed Spirit's guidance.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I wish each and every one who is listening, and each and every one who is not even listening, will have this courage of being able to follow what your inner self is saying. It's so beautiful. Congratulations.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Yes, and I will send you that information about Kalahari. It's beautiful. So maybe me sending you that, you'll come to the Poconos. Never know. Well, thank you so much. This has been such an honor. It's such my honor, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Caroline.
Give my love to your beautiful wife.
I totally will. I totally will. She told
Thank
me she
you.
was so sorry not to be here.
Yes. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.